lady, could you come up here, please? Have a seat right here in this chair. What's your first name?
Allison.
Allison, do me a favor. Hold on the end of that wire. All right. Now, students, I want the rest of you guys to pay pretty close attention, but Allison, I need you to pay ridiculous attention to detail. Everything I tell you to do, I want you to do exactly as I tell you to do. You got that?
Okay.
All right, let me see the wire. Students, I want you to notice, I've stripped the rubber coating off that wire. I have the insulation removed. I have the bare copper wires twisted together. Allison, I want you to take the bare copper wire, I want you to place it between your right thumb and your finger and squeeze on that wire. It's a little nervous. All right, hold on right here. Raise your feet straight out off the ground. You guys, I have Allison on a vinyl plastic chair. She's not a path to ground. Everybody agree with that? Not a path to ground. Allison, when you feel the shock of electricity in that wire, I want you to tell me, okay? She's like, what? Now hold it. How fast electricity travel? Electricity travels at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. So really, students, what I want you to do, I want you to keep an eye on Allison's hair color and her facial expression. Now, Allison, remember I said pay attention to detail? Honestly, what's going to happen here? When you feel the shock of electricity in that right hand, your muscles are going to contract. Do not drop that wire on your lap, and do not let your feet touch the ground. You guys, what I want you to do, I want you to watch Allison's right hand. When you see the muscles contract in her right hand, you glance at her facial expression, and I'm going to shut the electricity off really fast. Are you ready, Allison?
No.
Don't drop the wire. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, here we go. You're all right. Put your feet down. Just relax. Okay, now just sit there. Students, all right. At the power company there, all right, I get this call about the wires being down, no power and stuff like this. Well, I get out here to the circuit breaker. Sure enough, the handle's down. I know there's no power past that breaker. I'm driving down the road looking up at the wires. I find the problem, the tree that fell into the power line. I go up, I cut the branches off the tree, push it back in the clear, straighten the wires out. I call back to the power company and say, hey, Mike, found the problem, had a tree in the power line. I've got that taken care of. I've got about another 3 miles of wire to look at. I'll call you back in 30 minutes. Mike hollers at me on the radio and says, Kyle, we've got an emergency. Hospital called in. They cannot get their backup generator started. They're going to lose somebody on the operating table if they don't get electricity right now. What do you think? Well, Mike, I'm sure the tree was the problem. I've got that taken care of. Why don't you close the breaker for me there at the office? Students, for years, us linemen would physically drive back that breaker, take our high voltage hot stick, shove up on the handle, turn the electricity back on. Today, we can buy those breakers that are automated. That means a dispatcher sitting in the office could hit a computer button and turn the power back on. Students, what I didn't know, around the corner from where I was at this morning with that tree, Allison on her way into school slid off the road, down through the ditch, hit the utility pole, broke it off. The wires fell across her car, out across the grass. Allison, that wire you had a hold of right there, did you feel anything?
No.
Hear anything?
No.
Smell anything?
No.
Nothing at all. The wire across the hood, out across the grass, the wire was not arcing, sparking, or smoking. Allison says, well, the wire's on the ground. It's got to be dead. I'm going to go get some help. She opens up the car door, steps out of her car. Boom! 7,200 volts of electricity through her body at the speed of light. Why? She created a path to ground. Was Allison okay inside the vehicle? Yeah. In the vehicle, you're not a path. Because Allison, if you'd been a path for electricity, you'd never know what hit you. It happens at the speed of light. Somebody tells Allison, don't touch anything. Students, think about that stupid statement. When I'm sitting in my pickup truck, my rear end's on the seat, my feet's on the floorboard, my hand's wrapped around the steering wheel, I think I'm touching plenty. I can't levitate in that vehicle. I'm part of the overall vehicle. Allison, you can reach up, you can put a CD in the CD player, you can hop in the back seat. Do not get out of that vehicle, but Allison makes a mistake. She puts her vehicle in reverse and she backs up. That wire is caught on the fender, the bumper of her vehicle, snaps off a 40-foot tall utility pole. When that transformer falls through the windshield, that's not going to be very pretty, is it? Do not move the vehicle. Allison's going to have to reach down, grab up the cell phone, call 911. When the police officer gets there, when the fireman gets there, can they get you out of a vehicle when there's a wire down? Students, They have to block off the road, keep everybody back away. With a wire, you don't know if it's hot or not till it's too late. So the safest place for Allison to be is in the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle, stay in the vehicle, stay in the vehicle. Let's change Allison's situation. Let's say as Allison's car went off the road today, it went down through the ditch, it flipped over, it landed upside down on the metal roof. And when that metal 7200 volt power line fell on the bottom frame of Allison's vehicle, is Allison okay inside her vehicle now? Yeah, guess what? You guys, the rubber tires have nothing to do with it. The rubber tires are not what's protecting you whatsoever. You're like, what? Students, I can really prove that pretty simple. When you see the bird up there on a wire, the bird lands on our high voltage wire, wraps his little bare feet right around 7200 volts. That bird is at one wire, one voltage, and not on a path to ground. Yeah, the electricity's flowing through the wire, not flowing through the bird. The bird doesn't feel it. Allison, you're what we call a bird on a wire effect. The bird is on one wire, one voltage, and not a path to ground. It wraps its little bare feet around the bare copper aluminum wire. Okay, the electricity's not flowing through the bird, it's flowing through the wire. Okay, well, Allison, you're the same effect inside the car. The electricity could be flowing over the car, but you don't feel it. Safest place to be in most all cases is in the vehicle. If she opens up the door and steps out, she becomes the path to ground. Stay in the car. Well, let's change this, students. Let's turn Allison's car back over. Let's put her car on all 4 rubber tires. Now, Allison, if you're sitting there in the car and the metal 7200 volt power line falls out of the sky, that metal wire falls on your metal vehicle. When I tap your shoulder, you feel that instantly, don't you? Yeah. Students, when that metal 7200 volt power line falls on that metal vehicle, how fast does electricity travel? The speed of light. So when that metal wire fell on that metal car, that car was energized instantly and Allison didn't know it. So the safest place for Allison to be is in the car, unless this happens. Allison begins to smell something. The tires arc and catch on fire. Now you guys, there's an electrical arc going over that tire. Allison, if you sit in a burning vehicle, you're going to burn up and die. Now you can't stay in a vehicle that's on fire because it's going to burn up really quick. If she opens up the door and steps out, she's going to get electrocuted because what caught the tires on fire? Electricity. Allison, you're going to have to be like the bird on the wire effect. You're going to have to fly away. Now I don't think you can fly, so you got to do the next best thing. You're going to have to jump out. Allison jumps out of her car. She lands with her feet together. She's okay. She takes a step to walk away. Boom! And electricity kills her. Why? Students, when that electricity flashed across that tire and went into the ground, did the electricity just magically disappear? It dissipates. When you throw a rock in a mud puddle, what do you see? Ripples going out there. Can you see the electricity in the ground? Nope. Allison, you could have landed in a 5,000 volt zone of electricity, but as long as her feet are touching each other, she is at one point of contact. Electrical current cannot flow unless there's a second point of contact to another voltage or path to ground. Allison, you land your feet together, you're okay. You pick your foot up, you're still one point of contact. But when she sets her foot down in a different voltage zone, that difference in voltage is current flow, and current flow is what kills us. So students, if you ever had to get out of a burning vehicle, and the only time to ever do this is if it was burning, you're going to have to jump out, land with your feet together. Allison, you got to do something that's really stupid. It's called the bunny hop. She goes hopping down the road. She gets to school today and she goes, you guys, I need a little help. And you guys say, Allison, sweetheart, you need a lot of help. How far do you hop? Well, guess what? We don't know. Where's the electricity going? Did it get into the steel culvert, the guardrail, the chain link fence, woven wire fence, the steel rebar that's in the concrete? Students, we really don't know. So guess what? Most cases, safest place to be is in the vehicle because they only catch on fire about 2% of the time. If it does catch on fire, students, and you have to jump out and hop away as far as possible. But no. Most cases, the tires are not on fire. Students, we really only catch the tires on fire about 2% of the time. Most all cases, they're not on fire. Stay in a vehicle, stay in a vehicle, stay in a vehicle. Safest place to be unless it's on fire. Allison, tonight, out running around your friends, maybe mom and dad's curfew is, you gotta be home at 11 o'clock. So Allison's buzzing home and she gets a text message. She reaches down, grabs up her cell phone, responds to the text message. Boom! She just hit a utility pole. Allison's like, oh no, what did I do to my vehicle? She opens up the door, gets out. Students, she's hit a utility pole, it's dark outside, and Allison got out of her car. Nothing happened. The wire wasn't touching Allison's vehicle, so she's okay. She walks around her car to look at that front bumper. Wham! Chest high, she bumps into 7,200 volts electricity. Think you're going to survive that? Where was the safest place to be?
In your car.
In the car. What caused the crash?
Texting.
Texting. You guys, these cell phones are killing off people at a record pace, especially our 16 to 25-year-old drivers, because you're texting and driving. Put the phone up. I don't care if it is mom or dad saying, what time are you going to be home? If you reach over and respond to that and say, I'll be home, and you don't finish that, that's what we call the last message. Students, how would mom and dad deal with that if they knew the text message they sent you cost you your life? Put the phone up. It's super deadly. That text can wait till that vehicle's stopped and in park. And setting at the stoplight, setting at the street light is not the time to be sending it, because then when somebody takes off to go, you never looked out in the intersection and you get killed. Students, no usage of that cell phone. All right, let's put the phone up, no texting and driving. And today with all the commercial truck drivers and stuff, it's a $2,700 fine for a truck driver to be driving down the road talking on their phone. They have to use a Bluetooth headset. Students, we know it's a real problem, but it's a bigger problem with our youth because you guys have grown up with these phones. Let's make sure we don't text and drive.